Hey guys, I'm going to introduce to you an incredible technique that I use pretty much every day. That's a really efficient, maybe even the most efficient technique I know for improving your Chinese. Shadowing. And it hits all different areas. So listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Except for writing, it hits all those other three. So let's break down step by step exactly how you should be shadowing and how that's going to help you so much. Right. First step, you want to find a piece of material. So with great audio and preferably with written content as well to match it. So for example, Chinese characters, or if you don't know Chinese characters yet, pinyin will be fine along with the characters though. So you want to pre-listen and or read the material so you get familiar with it. This material should be not too long. It should be I+1. So I+1 is essentially I, which is your level, +1. So a little bit tougher, a bit challenging for you, not too challenging, and that's straight out of Dr. Stephen Krashen's work, which I highly recommend that you go check out. Also, want to make sure that the topic is somewhat engaging, something you might be interested in or something that you need to learn. So if you need to learn something about going to the bank, maybe it's about that. It also depends on your level. You know, if you're like really low level, beggars can't be choosers, right? You get more access to different variety as you improve your vocabulary. Anyway, you choose a piece of material with audio and written content, preferably no English, right? We don't need to be speaking English. I assume your English is very good. That's the first step, and you want to get used to it. You want to listen and pre-read this material a couple of times at least. Another step that is recommended is that you're outside, you're walking around. So you get lots of fresh air and you're moving the body. Now, this is an optional step for you. And of course, you can imagine if you're trying to read and listen at the same time, walking around, that could be quite dangerous, right? So usually this is if you just want to focus on the audio or if you're in a very sort of smallish area, you know, you can see where you're going, so don't hurt yourself. The reason why it's recommended that you are walking swiftly as well with, you know, your good posture, speaking loudly and clearly, because you're focusing on all these different actions at the same time as speaking Chinese. So just like with English, where we can just do like several things at the same time while speaking, we want to sort of create that ability with Chinese as well. So you're sort of, in a way, you're sort of pushing the limits of your brain a little bit by focusing on several things at the same time. So that's really cool. Also, of course, it just gets more oxygen to your brain, so it makes it easier, you're more alert to do the actual activity, because it can be quite like mentally strenuous, right? Now, that's step 2. Step 3 is listen, read, and speak simultaneously. And again, please don't be reading if you're walking around near traffic, all right? So just make sure that you're careful with that. Read along with the text and you're listening carefully and you're trying to speak in a loud and clear voice. And you want to aim for the same speed as the speaker, as the voice that you're hearing. Now, if you're listening to native speed audio, regardless of whether you're a beginner or an intermediate or an advanced, it's still going to be tough for you. You're still going to have to listen to it a few times. But that's the cool thing about this, is that you're not going for extensive listening. This is more like intensive listening. So you're focusing on a small dialogue, a short dialogue, and you're listening to it many times, 5, 10, 20, 50 times. And your aim is to copy and imitate exactly what you're hearing. So eventually, after you're familiar enough with it, you'll be able to sound exactly like the speaker. And you'll not only pick up all this grammar and new vocabulary, but you'll also pick up a very cool Chinese accent as well. So you'll be able to actually start speaking like a Chinese person, rather than like a classroom sort of foreigner version of Chinese, which often people tend to pick up, okay? So that is incredibly useful. The really cool thing about this technique is that because you're reading and listening at the same time, it's very synergistic in its effect. So, for example, you're finding it hard to hear every word, the reading will fill in those gaps for you. The reading will help your listening. You're finding it hard to keep up with the characters or the pinyin that you're reading. The listening will sort of help you keep up with it. So it's very good in that way. It's a perfect opportunity to choose material that's slightly above your level, because it's the easiest possible situation. Because the way that the reading and listening helps each other. And just a couple of last final thoughts before we go. Just remember, this is designed to be intensive. That means it's energy sapping, right? It's very, very, very effective because it improves your listening, your speaking, your pronunciation, and your reading all at the same time. But because of that, of course, you need to take regular breaks. Don't try and do it for an hour at a time. Do it 5, 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, absolute maximum, and have a break, right? Now, if you do this for a fixed amount of time every single day, you will see a marked improvement. You can start off just by imitating individual words and sentences, like for example on our Anki cards, and then you can start moving on to listening material. If you wanted to find extra stuff outside of our materials, we have included a special bonus gift at the end of the course, which is all about free and not free materials that you can go and research and explore in your own time. Okay, so please guys, go and check that method out. Try it right now, actually. Use the flashcards that you already have and make sure that you're shadowing at least a little bit every day, and you'll see the results, I promise.